continue, I think? Oh, right, yeah. Hey everybody, the Reswirl here, and welcome back to more Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. God, my heart just stopped for a second then, because I was looking at my audio mixer on OBS and I was like, oh god, is my commentary not like going through? But I was looking at the wrong level? Bar? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's been a while. By the way, I kind of want to finish this trial today. I'm not sure if I might just stick to Ace Attorney to finish it, but I don't know how long the last trial is. I'll figure it out. Let's go. Trial Day 2. I still remember all the stuff that's happened, which is useful because otherwise I'd be completely boned. Oh, the judge isn't there. Oh, he is there. Oh, yeah. Wait. Is this carrying on, like, just after the explosion? Or, like, it's, like, recently after the explosion. That's the one thing I had forgotten. So I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something. Probably a good idea, Judge. Your Honor, would you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs, I promise. Do you swear? Oh yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. Understandable. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. And then Mr. Tonate self-destructed. I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate. Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense. Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready. Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? Of course. It's Blackwell. When isn't he ready? Hmm? I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time? Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colourful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran of sorts. Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, was stabbed. I escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant Solomon Starbuck, and was stabbed. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge. Why the hell are my clicks not registering? And? How could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point? Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Dono's argument was correct. Oh, the first part of this. Wait, did we have a trial to begin with? Yeah, and we played as we played as Apollo. I nearly called him Justice Dono. I'm like, hang on. That ain't the right name. So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect. Yeah, because he wasn't fully bandaged up. It was just his eye for some reason. There were two people who claimed to be first on the scene. But can we truly trust their statements? Let's see, the two people were Detective Candice Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. Normally I dislike the overuse of flashbacks, but in this it's actually useful because I haven't played the game in a very long time. It's been like 3 weeks. I've just been... No, I wouldn't even say I've been busy with anything. I've just been addicted to multiple things. Like, Muse Dash, went through a Pokemon phase. It's just been a lot. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, he was killed. The courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow. He killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm. He definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw. Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Albright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues there was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim. To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already, old man? Wait a minute. I'm just realizing, is this the first time we've been against Blackwell as Phoenix? Objection! I think it is. Every other time it's been Apollo or Athena. Like case 1, which was the courtroom bombing, that was against Pain, because, you know, that's the tutorial. The second case, we was Apollo. Third case, we was... Oh, no, I'm dumb. I'd forgotten about the DLC case. Yeah, that one was Phoenix against Blackwell. In the actual game story that's not counting the DLC, this is the first time Phoenix has gone against Blackwell, though. We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene. They saw a third person. The crowd is in an outrage! I see my sister has been running her mouth. That's right, I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. Older sister, too. No matter. She didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. Indeed. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene. Director Cosmos, huh? Very well. Bailiff, please. God, I can't read. Please bring the witness to the stand. Who is the witness? Oh, oh, right, yeah. Alta, I think. Why, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Of course you have. Of course you have. Yuri, not Alta. Where the hell did I get Alta from? I think that's a game. Probably. For I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me? Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging. 7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hat 1, and... we don't care. I suppose that actually shut him up. Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I am trying to hold back my tears of seeing such a great man standing before me. So, could you please proceed directly to your important testimony? Ahaha! I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation of greatness. Then allow me to begin my... I have no idea what that word is. Apocal? Testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history. That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now... it was a total lie. It sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos. It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head. Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please. Alright. What I saw at the scene. Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure just standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck. But why? I see. So in your testimony you claim... You arrived on the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge. And just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror, the humanity! But what I said... is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Okay. God, the clicks in this... Oh, no. Okay. BlueStacks went into like a moment period of not responding. Just fun. Courageous actions to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? I'd have to be careful when it comes to my clicks. I don't want BlueStacks to crash. I did just update it, maybe that was a mistake. To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs. Lots of laughs. Well, what do you know? It sounds like the director really cares about his men. Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away. Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm gonna have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. Yay! It's time for my... usual. What I saw at the scene. It's just time for what I usually do. Press everything. Detective Arm and I rush towards the body lounge together. Could you elaborate, please? I'm just being really slow with the clicks now. Where were you coming from? The 6th floor. We were making sure any stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. You were right at the top then. It was then we heard about Starbuck and Terran and hurried to the 3rd floor lounge. On my galactic scooter here, of course. Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does it have something to do with space? Of course. It's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships. Okay. I see. Then I take it works in 0G too. Sadly no. With the current state of technology as it is, I'm afraid it would just float about and be galactically useless. Well, that's a galactic bummer. I see. So you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space-age pogo stick. And when you got to the scene, what did you see? Well, he's gonna tell us. Don't you worry, Judge. Judge Man. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. Hey, it's Ivan. How's it going? Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to the boarding lounge 1. Looks like you could have gone there from the southern corridor as well. Yes, but in her haste, Detective Arm rushed ahead of me towards the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind her. I see. So we peeked into the boarding lounge from the control room door and... saw a figure standing in the darkness. Saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor. So you couldn't see who that figure was, clearly, or what they were doing. Sadly, the only thing I could tell was that it was a person standing motionless. The defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. What other explanation is there? I'm so close, but without evidence I can't prove that person's the third party. I should probably look at the court record. I don't really remember any of the evidence we have. We have the knife that was in Terran. We learn about all the different doors. And how they're locked and stuff. There we go. Security camera video. Alright, yeah. Ends after the scene. That's the pamphlet. Another door. Bullet hole in the screen. Get the Hope capsule and a bullet. Okay. That's a fair amount of stuff. Just looking at it kind of helped, to be honest. I don't relish in this, and... oh. I probably should have just pressed a bit further. Hate to say it, but I can only imagine this. The standing figure must have been Starbuck. Aura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge. But she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly? No, not clearly. But the lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Karen, but I couldn't see who the other person was. So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Isn't that correct? I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder. When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. It could only have been Starbuck. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director? Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Terran were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark, and the figure vanished. You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness. Hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off of the scene? Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by. If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time. But what escape route could this person have used? Yeah, there's multiple doors. The direction opposite the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way. Ah.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Well, nope. If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists? He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss. And he's right, I don't have any proof yet. Still, that's like the only thing we can go off of. The southern door was a possible escape route. I'd better make a mental note of that. Okay, so that's important, I guess. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question? Yes? Why did you look away from the boarding lounge? There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arm saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her. What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? Oh, figure, not figure. I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer. I don't know about that. And were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun? I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure. This information about Detective Arm's actions sounds critically important. Please add it to your testimony. Okay, I can present the bullet to that. Wait, would it be the bullet or the bullet hole? Wait a minute, no. One bullet... The bullet we found was in like a grate at the side of the room, basically hidden. Whereas the other one... I don't actually know if there was a bullet lodged in the screen. I think it was just the bullet hole. So Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots at the figure. I'm gonna keep, like, switching between figure and figure. Bullet hole. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's the glory of Ace Attorney. It's a fantastic series. Especially if you like murder mysteries or whodunits. Yeah, I wouldn't present the bullet, but is this the bullet she fired? Bullet hole. A single bullet hole was found in the boarding lounge. The bullet itself is missing. Oh, the bullet we found was probably what goes to that hole. Never mind. There we go. Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? Oh dear. You doubt my words? Words that will someday be written down in history books? Oh, he's angry. Somehow I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history books. Mr. Wright, would you please explain yourself so that we can all understand? Certainly. You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. There was only 1 bullet. I didn't even pick up on that. I was like, yeah, bullet hole. And yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. What? Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once. And yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Now, what's Blackwell got to say? Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. Did they find the other bullet? Ah, okay. We confirmed that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to? Oh dear. Bloody Tucker. You should know the answer to that already. I should? Oh. During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence, and it was damaged. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a 38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun. Oh. Crap. Well, there goes that. Well, now we know where the other bullet went. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. In that case, I'm just curious, why was the bullet discarded? Like, we found it in a grate at the side of the room. Definitely looked like it had been thrown down there to be hidden. So, yeah. Rifling marks. They're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? I'm pretty sure we go over this every single game. And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from. One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots. Keep getting like tongue twisted. A beautiful contradiction. Gone. All gone. So that bullet hole was from a 38 caliber, huh? That looks like one hell of an impact. I better update the record. It was made by a bullet fired from a 38 caliber. Okay, I guess it was. Oh no, the way she said that, it made it sound like it wasn't from that gun. So very good. Now we know the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions? No. I want to know why the bullet was discarded. Wait a minute, what? So, hang on. I need to just go over my evidence again. These aren't useful. It's made from a 38 caliber. Oh, they are different. They just look the same. That was from a 10 caliber gun. Oh. Yeah, discovered in a gutter. That's what it's called. Well, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't clear it up. We don't know where her other shot went, and also there's a mysterious 10 caliber bullet. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display, and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? Nope. I even looked over the bullet before. I just didn't really make note of what caliber it was. No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a 38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Here we go. Here's our ace. Oh? Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene? Right, now I'm actually going to present the bullet. There we go. God, I should have just taken note of the caliber. Now what is this metal pellet supposed to be? It's a bullet, Your Honour. Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honour. You found it where? In a gutter. In a floor gutter at the crime scene. It looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's 38 calibers. Then that means another gun was used. Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets. Oh. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Ah, that would explain why the captain looked away. It was mostly to take cover, I would guess. So, and in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. What's this now? God, his story's just ever-changing. What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before. I like when he just laughs. Haha! Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know? Foolish old geezer. So, Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. But why? Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw. You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please, give accurate testimony. Huh. So what I really saw at the scene. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room, and Terran on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Well, there we go. That was a nice and short one. Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant? Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock. They probably fired the shot to keep them away. Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one and it is you who is cut down. Your reasoning could apply if Spaceboy were the killer as well. Oh. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
Hey old nerd, how's it going? Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by the police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
Bloody hell. Going back and forth. It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. What evidence? Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. I did forget all about that. Yeah, I did too. A lot of objections. Like a game of tennis. Back and forth, back and forth. Look, your boldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine. Wow, he sliced our third-person theory to ribbons and served it to us just like that. Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly? Oh, it hit me. Huh? So does that mean you're a ghost? I was wondering when you would realise it, your baldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. Oh my god. Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman. Why is she being so nice? Your baldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again. And that's the judge. Are you sure? In that case. How did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos? I mean, if you look at him, it's kind of obvious. He's covered in something that could possibly stop a bullet. I'm glad you asked. Ah, great, it's going to be another story. It was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. Oh, you can actually see where it hit, I think. The star on the top right. It looks like it's got a hole in it, or something. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. What? Impressive. That's unbelievable. I have to check this out. Oh wow. Look at that. There's one extra Argyexia star. The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle. Beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos. But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. Okay, the more someone hides something, the more suspicious they become. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand. I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding? Yeah, exactly. Let's just cross-examine him and see what we find out. Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I don't remember what he said. Oh, I really saw at the scene. So Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together, right? Press. We've already heard all about that part. Don't you have any new information? Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I could tell you all about the Hat 1 miracle. No thanks. We already know all about that, too. Tell us about something related to this incident. I see. You want to know about incidents? Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that made me the man I am today. Yes, if you have the time, I'll tell you all about the upbringing of this great man. Please, no. You've told us all about all... Oh, you've told us all about that already as well. What we need now is your testimony. Did I really already tell you all about my upbringing? I don't recall doing so. Director Cosmos, perhaps you could save your boastful tales for later. Oh, thank you, Judge. If I must. Well, we peeked in through the control room door and... Well, that's all that statement was. Nice. In the land, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room, and Terran on the floor. But it was so dark you couldn't see this figure's face, isn't that right? Yes, the room that was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Hat 1 launch 7 years ago... Oh my god. Every time. If it's about that Hat 1 miracle again, you can sod off and tell it to a stray mutt. Damn. Excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness. And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? Oh, wow. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Wait a minute, how is the room laid out? Oh, where's the plan? Is it in this? A diagram. Perfect. They were in the control room. Wait a minute. Ah. No, I just realised. So I was wondering, like, is the gutter near here? Because if they're in the control room... I keep realising I'm circling it with my mouse. You can't see. But if they're in the control room, the figure fired from the middle of the boarding lounge, the gutter is to, like, the bottom right of the boarding lounge. There's no way the bullet would have fired to the control room and ricocheted all the way to the bottom right. So yeah, something doesn't add up here. Right, I'm just looking at evidence. Present the bullet. It's still an enigma.
Objection!
That doesn't explain how it ended up in the gutter. Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie. A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history? Plenty. My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door. And the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have travelled in this direction. Yeah, we're gonna find out how did it end up. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh, it was there. Oh, not the bottom right, the bottom left. My bad. Oh. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Oh. Did he do it? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
What would be the motive? Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his middle. Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. Oh yeah, sure. I didn't think so. What? How? Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? Please don't. You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? Oh. Okay, he's getting even more suspicious. What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair? I think it looks cool, Phoenix. Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and this is why the bullet was found in the south. Yeah, given the fact this game is mostly just like a visual novel, it's incredibly interesting. And incredibly fun too, to just kind of tear down testimonies and actually find the culprit. That makes some sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favourable for the prosecution. Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time... Oh, I snapped him! Yikes! His handcuffs. You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. Alright, I'll tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's a complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition, the corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one. That's why I wanted to change their positioning. My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks. Oh dear. Order in the court. Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie? You were covering for the defendant. Isn't that right? Yes. It was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? I don't believe that. The amount of lies this guy has told, he's just become more and more suspicious. Looks like we come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled. No! It's over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix, think. This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person. The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict. Objection. Oh yes. Not just yet. Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility. Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright. There is one and only one person who could have escaped from this scene, or from the scene, and that person would be the first person who arrives on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them. Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is this one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge? I mean, if it's the person that's at the southern door, I mean, he could have used both, but I'm going with Yuri. Especially if he was first on the scene. And it's also, he just seems ultra suspicious. With all the lies he's been telling. What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here? Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all. But that means... Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos. Oh. What? What? Boo-doo-doo. Order! Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail. I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm, and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and fired 2 warning shots. Saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos. Oh! Right, yeah, I've just caught on to what we're saying. If they entered through the south, and they were in the middle of the lounge, then Detective Arm came, they would be able to escape into the control room. But only Director would be, because he's the only one that can get through. They did actually say that when they was kind of, pushing the player towards who it is. I just didn't catch on. I just did it on pure suspicion. Saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. I've been hit. I've been hit on the starboard side. Captain, right. It's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot. Oh. Oh, he's got a phone. Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Oh, this is so crazy. Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again. I've been hit on the port side. The enemy has called in reinforcements. Earth to Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. Oh. If Director Cosmos is the third person, or a Blackwell saw, this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. There it is. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? So basically, the bullet is from Detective Arm's gun. It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the Director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party will be all the proof we need. To prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Great. Brace for further impact. Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. Right, so it's going to be the bullet. From Detective Arm's gun. Come on, click. Eesh. Bullet from Arm's gun.
Take that!
Oh god, me throat. The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor of the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analysed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. Oh dear. The bridge is destroyed, losing altitude, all hands, abandon ship. If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank? It was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, the Director. It was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! You've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Okay. Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth. If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth. Oh dear. Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? But the Cosmos revolves around me! God. Someone get me off this thing. Poor guy. Order. Order in the court. Will someone please stop the witness from spinning? There we go. Right, so that's the end of the first part of the trial. Oh my god. There's still one more. Or the other half to go through. Whew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the Earth. While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the metal. Come on. There we go. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet. matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. Well, I'll be... Are you ready to confess the truth, witness? No, you've got it all wrong. This is just a misunderstanding. Is he going to start piling on more lies? It looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. There we go, that's good. That's the end of the trial. Hooray! Well, the first half of the trial, I should say. To be continued. Right, time to end this case. Save game, yes. Save over that. Don't know how much longer the trial will go on for. It's been an hour, and I've only gotten through... like, 2 testimonies is all that we did. Alright, that's all. Boom. Oh, we actually start straight away. Oh. Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are all claiming, or they are claiming, that you were this third person. Forgive me. I'm so sorry. So the great pioneer space development is revealed to be just another fabulist cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? Dear. Ba-bum. The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos. So don't try to talk your way out of this. Fine, I'll tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me. I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. Ah. I then went past the elevators and all the way around to boarding lounge 1 again. I came up behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second on the scene. What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts. I see. So then... Are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim? Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness. Got this again. No, hold on just one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you. No, it wasn't me. I saw the person as well. If I were the killer, why would I lie to cover for Starbuck? Jesus. I would just leave him to take the fall. That is an excellent point. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. Well, it makes some sense if he told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck. Still, a lie's a lie, Athena. The Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof? Ah, I just remembered. I have an alibi. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 AM, correct? Yes. And? Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort, and it's a process. Ask any member of the staff you'd like, they'll corroborate me. The director is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirmed that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 AM. And that you arrived at the lounge after that. Yes, and I believe the person I saw is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an Earthling. As long as he has an alibi. We can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer. No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need to yet. I wonder if he was really covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw. Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please. Alright. So what I really witnessed. What? Oh right, yeah, the killer. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door, and, well, the Launchpad 1 door. And I'm just going to open up a drink and mute. There we go. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. But it wasn't. So you were shot at by the killer as well, and then they disappeared. Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured. Ah. Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his middle. That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember? Right. What a mess this is turning into. So, let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him. Right. But it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it. And then the killer disappeared and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him... Oh. I said that as if it was leading into other dialogue. Judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too. Good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared. I'm ashamed to admit I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but... when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate. But what I found was Terran with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor. So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route. Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence.
A riddle of the ages indeed. But I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great. A great man is always misunderstood in his own time. But he must remain true to himself even if those around him don't understand. Wow, that might be the first true statement he's said all day. But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? Simple. Because it was Spaceboy himself. When he was spotted by the director and Aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter-evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor? No, because it was as dark as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room. That wasn't exactly helpful. I'm prepared to accept your surrender, right, Dono? Not just yet. I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up. Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help? Move Matrix. Nice. Huh? While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord. Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us. Huh. This might just help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him. Oh yeah. It's Mood Matrix time! You got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Yuri Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me. There it is. Okay, so the unexpected emotion is what we're looking for. As I tried to enter the lounge... Oh dear. The true killer inside fired a gun at me. So sad, surprised, angry. They're reasonable. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. Okay. Well, that's already unexpected. You would think he'd be surprised because they vanished. Let's just see if there's any others. I was near the elevator side door, and well, the launch pad 1 door, and the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. Right, yeah, no emotion on those makes sense. Being sad at that makes sense because of the explosion. Also, that makes sense. Yeah, the unexpected emotion is the fact he isn't surprised at the fact the killer vanished. Yeah. You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air. I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually. And yet at that time you barely registered any shock at the occurrence. Hmm? Why are you... I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went. Isn't that right? What? No, of course not. That's preposterous. Only I can enter the control room. And the area beyond the launchpad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, that's where I was. I was standing right there. So there was nowhere for the killer to run to. Maybe, or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Terran. Yes. What if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door? I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Arm came rushing towards it herself via the southern hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by the killer. Caught by her. Jeez, why'd I add the killer? What about the elevator door, though? And yet the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure there was no escape route for the culprit to use. Elevator door. Again, elevator. It's working, boss. One more punch and it'll be a knockout. There seems to be one more emotion that's at odds with his testimony. Go get him. Okay, back into the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to victory. So I now need to find another strange emotion. Or unexpected emotion. Yeah, that's fine. Near the elevator door. If anything, I would say that one's suspicious now. Because whenever he mentions any other door, he registers no emotion. But why would he be sad about the Launchpad 1 door? I mean, I did make the case that because of the incident and what happened, but... even still, like, he's mentioning a door. I think I was just reading too much into it. I'll go with that. As I say, it's the only door that's registering emotion, so... Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the Launchpad door. The great Yuri Cosmos? Afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation? Whether I have any basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it. Click. Eesh. I'm most certainly not. Director Cosmos. There's something about the Launchpad door you're not telling us, isn't there? Wow, he's speechless. Looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. Was the Launchpad corridor the only place, or where they could have escaped to? I'll just input those two pieces of data, and yes, just what I wanted to see. Aha! Presto changeo, less Discord. Looks like we're on the right track. Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge. which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launch pad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launch pad 1 door. When we put these two pieces together, only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. It's where the killer fled to. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? The culprit went through the Launchpad 1 door to escape, didn't they? Yes, I mean no. Disaster to starboard. Or starboard. We're going to crash into an asteroid. A master tactician, you are not. But the area beyond that door was filled with smoke, wasn't it? What if it wasn't? True, but this is still the only logical answer there is. If we can just figure out what the director is hiding about the Launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. But that door requires fingerprint recognition. Only Starbuck, Terran and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock. Do you? Well, yeah. Starbuck was unconscious. That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. I mean, there was Starbuck and Terran. I don't know if a dead person's handprint would register, though. Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. Oh, it was Starbuck's. I propose that the killer use this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock.
Take that!
That's... Indeed. Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gotten past the security lock by using Mrs. Starbuck's prints. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Yep. Looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. But what? And I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet. You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it? Go for it, Judge. Oh yes, by all means. There's a security camera in boarding lounge 1. Right, the one that recorded the victim and the defendant. I was gonna say that it doesn't look like there's much smoke in here. What about it, Your Honor? If the true culprit escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, then that might be recorded on the security footage as well. Then the mystery would be solved. What do you think of my logic? Well, the tape cuts off right after we see the two people, so probably not. Everybody's just... I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that, your baldness. I beg your pardon. Look, if we play the security footage beyond this point, it's nothing but fuzz. Oh, it shuts off. Oh my, the footage cuts off. The camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged. Most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There is no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens. And I thought it was such a good idea too. Well, you tried. Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery. It doesn't mean you should try to show off too much. Grandpa Baldness. Prosecutor Blackwell, how did you know about my grandchild? I think his grandchild just learned a little about the harshness of the adult world. Setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about when you entered the lounge? Why is she so dizzy? I has been spinning a lot. If I must. Oh nice, we got more of this. Hooray! So I hid to avoid getting shot. After the killer vanished, I went into the lounge. Oh, here we go. Well, that's when Detective Arm appeared from the elevator side door. And then the detective shot me. So you see, the killer could have only escaped to the launch pad, right? Wait, was the door that they went through, was that the elevator door? It probably was, and I was thinking that was a different door entirely. Never mind. Is there anything unexpected with this? Surprised? I mean, you would be surprised if you were being shot at. I think it's more the fact that the intensity of being shot at was less. Like, he was more surprised that Detective Arm appeared, or showed up, than he was at getting shot at. Director Cosmos, why were you so surprised when Detective Arm found you, and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural? Uh-oh. Sadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion. Yes, I'm sure you do. But my real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather what you were surprised by. Pardon me? First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. And just after that, you were of course again surprised when she shot at you. An understandable reaction. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprised reaction is the fact that you were... There we go, not surprised twice, yeah, that's very... that's very strange. You were more surprised when Arm came. Oh, come on. Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you. But the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at is a tad suspicious. Hmm? Is he actually the killer? Yeah, I'm getting more and more towards that. Suggests to me that you were conflicted about whatever it is, or whatever it was you were doing there. The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence operation, hide under your desk. That's not really hiding. Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Noise level 30, there's still more. Boss, I'm getting less Discord now. That must mean... he really is hiding something about that launch pad door. But what? And whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape. I wonder what it could be. If he was doing something suspicious around that door... maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after. Detective Fulbright gave us a photo, taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Ah! I instantly noticed it. Instantly. It's right on this photo. Give you a sec, see if you can notice. Yeah, as soon as this popped up, I just looked straight at it and I was like, oh, that's what changed. So let's see, this is the footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. Yep, there it is. That's why I instantly noticed, because we saw this briefly, like just a second ago. And this is how the door looked after the director entered the lounge. Mmm. Hey, look at that! There is a change. Something's definitely different. Director Cosmos. What is it? What have you two been up to over there? Finding the answer to what you were doing when Detective Arm found you. That's what. And that answer clearly lies in this footage. All we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation. Don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you'd have pointed it out already. Why get into that? He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident. Ta-da! Yeah, it changed. Went from being horizontal to vertical. How suspicious. The answer is this knob. That's... Your Honor, please take a look at this footage. Let's see. And focus on the knob. Take a look at the knob next to the launchpad door. As you can see, it's horizontal. Yes, it is, isn't it? Well done. However, when we investigated the scene on of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical. And what does that mean? It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. So come on now, Director Cosmos, let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door? Fine, I admit it. You're right, I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launchpad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launchpad away. You wanted to do what? Hey, didn't Poncho, is it Poncho? I can't remember if the name is Poncho or Poncho. Tell us something about how they prepared for launch? He said that once the launchpad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. But the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first. I guess that clears up what that knob is for. Oh, so if the killer escaped into the Launchpad 1's corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launchpad to the launch site. I don't think so. The Launchpad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor. So then, where did the killer escape to? I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launchpad in more detail. Fine. But listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making testimony. Make sure you said that every time. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. I feared there might be more explosions. So I had to cut the launchpad loose. Surely the only escape the killer had was through Launchpad 1. Come on. Jeez. But that area was a sea of smoke. Confound it. Where on earth could they have gone? Right, okay. I think I know the unexpected emotion. It's the one that's the most bizarre in a situation like this. Not that. None of these. But this. Why is he happy about disengaging the safety lock? I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so, but you were actually happy. And yet when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were very pleased with yourself. How do you do it? How do you know everything as if you were there? Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology. So, care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. How do you know about that, too? Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing. But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. And even if I did, I would never ever tell you, so there. I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake. And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity?
Silence.
You, a man of integrity? Don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden? You spouted nothing but falsities since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar an honour. Liar? Well, that is all you have done. His words bite harder than his blade. Bum 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 bum. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosions. My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge one side. The police confirmed this on the scene. What? Liar? He's still going on about it. So that means the director didn't move the launch pad. Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content. Liar!
Objection!
But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to. Bloody hell. You are sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out? Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy? Boy. Jesus. She got called boy. I suppose that's better than old man. Talk about hitting below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it. Whoa, my hair! You made him sign like Mr. Starbuck. Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you, however. our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. But a fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film. Oh, right. So to reiterate... Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Not again! Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved, but our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe... Huh? Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? And what if when the director moved the launch pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull, or I'll cut you. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. I'll be doing this really cool scene. Oh, maybe not. Oh well. So Director Cosmos' reason for moving Launchpad 1 was to... switch it with another place. Oops. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place. I'm sorry? What did you say, switch it? What could he possibly have switched the launchpad with? No, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what switched with Launchpad 1. Space Museum... I mean, it's the only thing it could have been. Come on. Ugh. Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum? In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1, and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. You can't mean... The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. Oh! It was the one in the Space Museum. What? Boulder Dash! And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places. That's right. But with the two switched like this... The astronauts entered the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 1. This allowed the True Killer to enter Launchpad 1 from Boarding Lounge 2. And set the bomb on the rocket. Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 2... Welcome, welcome! Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 AM to 7 PM. Exactly. Anyone could pass through the door to the Space Museum. Oh. There is no fingerprint recognition system on the door. Or on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into Boarding Lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who we can suppose, after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmo switched the 2 launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. Ah. Then the killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. Right, Dono, I see you know how to handle a sword, and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence.
But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword. That's right, you have no proof I switched the launch pads. Somebody needs a better anger management counsellor. If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere. I see it. At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other. If you look on the floor behind the elbow, you can see it's a number 2. Huh. So that was there from the very beginning. So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see. This is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Yep, number 1s. Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage? Huh? That number on the floor. God, they really do make it obvious. I do hate how handholdy it gets. I mean, I still love the game. It's just a bit too... Yeah, it kind of just guides you through every choice. You can still get stuff wrong, but they make it really obvious. Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. And if this is just another bluff... Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Very well then. Answer this for me, if you would. What in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum? Give me that nice pointer. This, Your Honor. There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see is the... Oh god, I have a yawn. Oh, pardon me. That came out of nowhere. It was like a sneeze. That's because the corridor you see is the one to the Space Museum. Oh yeah! And so that means... the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke. That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1, on the side opposite to opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from that previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran carrying Mr. Starbuck simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. Just incredible. The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude. Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. Hey! Ba-ba. Wait, what we do? Oh, right. Bye-bye. No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth. Bloody hell. My honor, my glory. Everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my ultimate weapon. Galactic machine. Ignition. What? It's gone haywire. It won't stop. My stars, my glory. This is one hell of a breakdown. Jesus. Oh. No, not that way. Oh my god. That was one hell of a breakdown. Ah dear. But Bailiff, on your steed and after that witness. We're gonna have him back. Huh? There he is! He looks rather sorry for himself. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Director Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads? I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum. Ah, it is good to hear words I can believe for a change. Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercised my right to remain silent, but I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could do, or what I could, to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. Wait, what? The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why. Probably not a good time to try to pry it out of him, huh? Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing. I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars. Okay. It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say? I don't get it. Don't get it? What don't you get? Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us. Mr. Starbuck. Starbuck, my boy. I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. But I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director, will I ever get the chance to go into space again? Oh. Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy. Then the dream is still alive. Hey!
Silence!
Oh, not. Way to ruin the mood. You're not going into space, Starbuck. But prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum. Oh, that's a good point. He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. Oh god. What? Me? Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. If I'm going to die, I want to die in space. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck. Prepare yourself. What the hell is happening? Oh. Well, there we go. All right to save the day. Now. You know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. That annoyingly cheerful laugh. It can be none other than... Fulbright. Hey! Butchin! Champion of Righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. In Justice we trust. Detective Fulbright. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats, or... Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit. I came to make sure that justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright. I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed? Nope. But it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence? Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence. Thanks, you too. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. Oh. I didn't think he was serious, though. So what is it, Detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck is innocent? It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter? That's right. A lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Heron's blood along with his killer's fingerprints on it. But what? Jesus. Order. Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet. Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. The lighter found on the floor of the Space Museum, the true culprit's fingerprints are on it, in the victim's blood. Okay, that's a good thing. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder. A fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one to drop the lighter there.
Silence.
But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection!
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with a lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. Yeah! This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defence's claims. As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No. There must be some mistake. Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence.
Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Given the body evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime, a few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. Oh wait, does this case carry on? Is case 4 and 5 actually... like one case? Just one big case? But for now, this court finds the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, not guilty! Awesome. Oh, look at him. Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright. Looks like we pulled it off somehow. Huh? Oh, looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Indeed. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please, thank Apollo for me too. Apollo didn't really do anything. You are all the best. Oh, you all are the best. Ooh, I wish we could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now. Yeah, me too. But that's going to have to wait. Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned. Hallelujah.
Objection!
Wait. It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong. Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict? Fulbright, what were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Huh. He didn't do that, did he? Well, I was in a hurry, you see. And then there was that cat fight, and, well... I kinda got carried away when I heard the prints weren't Mr. Starbuck's, so he didn't look into whose they were. You have yet to read it? Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prints belong to? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints... Wait, were found to belong to Athena Sykes. Hold up. How? So says the report. What? What? Huh? Me? Okay, I can now understand why case 4 and 5 are the same case. Order, I say. Order! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion. I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit. This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece. I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? Evidence found by Detective Fulbright, it has Athena's prints on it in the victim's blood. What have I done? Please forgive me, I'm sorry. Order, order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying! What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad. Jesus. Order, order! I will have order! Oh no. So Athena's Sykes' prints were found on the lighter. Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crime. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. There's going to be episode 4, end. Cutscene. Oh, no. No cutscene. Yeah, it just end of case 4. And then straight into case 5. Oh, I really want to finish this game now. I'm going to look up how long episode 5 is. And then decide whether I'll do it or not. No one can escape their past. Cutscene! Maybe. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is creepy. The sins we've committed, and the sadness we've caused. Turn about for tomorrow. I never even read that. Is that? Yeah, that's Blackwell. But no, I might just take a small break and come back with another session of this after I find out how long the trial is, or the episode is. No matter how far we run, I didn't get to read that. As ever present as the moon in the sky. But I have a feeling the last case is probably going to be long. It's actually quite short in terms of how many things it's broken into. There's only 3 things. Yeah, I believe it's an investigation and 2 trials, and that's it. So it's really quite short by comparison. Well, it's short in terms of, like, you know, how much there is. It's the same length as a Cosmic Turnabout, actually. No, it isn't. It's short. It's the same length as Turnabout can be. Looms in wait, waiting for the day. Yeah, I wasn't reading. Looking at other stuff. We're only doing so can we truly make peace and move on in hope towards tomorrow. I'll read this properly next session. Yeah, when I actually get started. No cutscene! Huh. I really just want to keep going. Should I? Technically, episode 4 and 5 are the same. It's the same case. I might just finish this part, and then... Yeah. I've just looked over, and well, it doesn't look like the investigation's long, so it's fine. Now you have, like, bullet points that list, like, what you have to do in investigations, if I ever get stuck. And it looks like there's nothing. So, yeah, sure, I'll actually do this, for once. Carrying over into another case. Technically, it's the same one. They took Athena from the courtroom straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. Although, actually, now that I think about it, what I'll do with next session is I'll start the episode again. I won't make a save. It's just so I can actually properly read the text that's at the beginning. Yeah. I don't know, I like to read over all the text, so it feels weird having bits that I missed out. Plus I didn't get to read them, so I don't know what it said. After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. But now Apollo has gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. It's even quieter in here than usual. Yeah, it seems so empty too. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid. Yeah, and I still believe it was. At least, based on what we know. But now, Athena is the one who's being accused. During the trial for the bombing and murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant Solomon Starbuck innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. Yep. Not exactly the result we were after. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder. But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense. No, none of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Where is the flaw in my reasoning? What have I got wrong in this case? You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy? Of course I will. And thanks, Trucy. I needed that push. Trucy's right. The trial is tomorrow. There's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I'd better get out there and find some evidence. Off we go then. We're on a hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence. Great, but before we go I'd better tidy up the evidence I have on hand. Oh, it's weird having two cases being no. One case spread across 2 episodes is what I was trying to say, but I got it backwards. Unnecessary evidence left at the office. Athena is probably still in the middle of being questioned. So Trucy's right. The thing to start with is talking to people at the Space Center. Let's go then. To the entrance. Boom, 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 boom. Entrance. Director Cosmos, do you have a minute? Oop. And also one thing I'll do when I finish this session is restart BlueStacks because the fucking clicking, the fact they don't go through half the time is annoying. Galactic Scooter. Full speed ahead. Oh. He's avoiding me. Director. He scooted away. His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy. Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud. Pretty good at the trial earlier today. Ooh dear. Alright. Boarding lounge then, I guess. Cosmos Space Center. Boarding lounge. We were here only yesterday. Oh hey! Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh? Yep. And I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You've given me a second chance to fly into space again. I can't thank you enough. Except... Ah, God. What's wrong? I thought he'd be happy to be acquitted. As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes. He saw Athena? I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. Congratulations on your acquittal, she said. Now you can go back into space someday. Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it. But I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. She's gotta be suffering. She must be so worried. Don't worry. And yet she went out of her way to be nice and give me that big smile. She held back her own tears so she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena. There's no question about it. That girl is innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind. We can't have that either, Mr. Starbuck. For fuck's sake. Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck. I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted. Just like I did for you. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Nice. I know she'll be alright with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Apollo has a fine boss to look up to. Oops. Come on. Alright, let's talk. About the murder. I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing? I haven't the foggiest idea. So there never was gonna be a launch that day. Not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew. I imagine he must have. Surely he would have noticed when you went to board the rocket. It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. God, he's still so depressed. But I guess that's about how it goes. When you're worth less than space debris. Is he going to be alright, Daddy? His expression looks as dark as a black hole. He'll be fine. I fucking hate this. The fact it won't let me click sucks. Well, that's just how he is. The murderer. Mr. Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murderer? Not really. I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all. Yeah, I guess that was a little too much to hope for. Hey, I heard something from the police though. They said they never did find a 10 caliber gun down that trash chute. Just as I thought, the culprit must have carried it away with them when they escaped. So, was the person you saw holding a gun, Mr. Starbuck? I couldn't really tell. But it wasn't Athena, right? Could you tell if the person was male or female, tall or short? I can't even tell you that much. Man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door, and some light came in, I should have been able to see. The door? Ah, yes. The launchpad door. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape. The door to Launchpad 1, right? Yeah, except right now, the door leads to the Space Museum. You mean the Launchpad and the Space Museum are switched right now? Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with in court. So they're recreating the conditions, huh? I'd like to see what's beyond that door now. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us? Sure. Just let me have my print scanned here. Nice. And switching the launch pads. Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot? Well, back when the Space Museum was Launchpad 2, they used to switch the pads around at times. But these days, Launchpad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, right? Right. Because, quite frankly, the Space Center needs the money. I hear you. Times sure are tough. Daddy, let's go check out what's beyond that door. Sure, let's go. Yeah, sometimes it registers the clicks and other times it doesn't. Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around. Alright. Oh! Fuck. Huh? I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here. Maybe they were stuck at the bottom of someone's shoe. Or to the bottom of somebody's shoes. There are lots of trees around the Space Center. She's right, it's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. I don't know. If they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These don't look like they've been stepped on. They've just blown in. Maybe there's some kind of secret hatch in the corridor, and they came in that way? Not everything is set up like a magician's stage, you know? Oh! Wait. There's definitely something up there. Oh, I can look at this. So this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh? Yep. But this one doesn't require fingerprint verification. Oh. You just hit the button and open sesame. So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either. That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints. When they escaped back out of the Space Museum corridor into Boarding Lounge 2. The biometric door lock, print authentication isn't required from the launchpad side. Is that all there is? Yep. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me. Apart from that red thing on the ceiling. And I imagine this corridor is built exactly like the Launchpad 1 corridor. Alright, yes, is that everything? That is everything. Move to the Space Museum! Oh. Entrance? It's the only place I can go to. And there he is again. Curse the wretch who sullied my good name. Reverse course and full speed away! Direct to Cosmos, wait! And he's gone again. I'll handle this, Daddy. Take that. Ooh. The mobility system has been compromised. Trucy's knife throw was a direct hit to one of his tires. And the streak continues. Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what tricks she's been practicing. My dear old battleship. We fought many a skirmish together. It has been an honour. Teddy, he's going to blow that thing up. Nah, I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again. Very well. I surrender. As a prisoner of war, I expect to be treated honourably. Oh, there we go. Direct to Cosmos. When you were talking in court about switching the launch pads, you used your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. I'd like Direct to Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in the blast. The center of the cosmos is shrouded in mystery, but I don't have any secrets left. And now that my battleship has been destroyed, and I've been taken prisoner. Oh, now that my battleship has been destroyed, and I've been taken prisoner. Psych-lock. 3 of them? Bloody hell. No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo his psych-locks if I want to get to the bottom of this. Come on. God, I hate the fact I can't click. I don't think I'll have anything necessary. I could try, I guess.
Take that!
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure you can back out at any time, can't you? Behind the switching of the launch pads. I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the 2 launch pads. I refuse. You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone. I hope I never get like this when I'm old. Now let's see. Where to start? This is how you explained your motive for switching the launch pads. You did it... Oh. To save the astronauts. Thanks to you switching the launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket far away from the actual explosion. My astronauts were raring to go out on an authentic adventure in space. How do you propose I had them board a fake rocket without them noticing? I agree you couldn't have done it without help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he'd been drugged with his medication, but without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off.
Take that!
Oh. You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. Ooh. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. And then, with Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they boarded the replica rocket in the museum. Someone please help this poor prisoner of war. How is he able to spin around like that? Yeah, with a broken tire. There's one. If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you Shouldn't you have just called off the launch? If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone to all that trouble? Okay, so calling off the launch was an impossibility. I guess he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. But how did you know to switch the pads in advance of the bombing incident? Well, that's because I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronaut's safety. But it was just a warning. It could even have been a prank. Why did you believe in it so completely? Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone's talking about these days. Oh? I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that got the warning via telephone. Yes, that's right. The bomber contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with a special advanced communication system, you see? AKA, a regular old telephone. It's been a while. Planning another launch? I see you haven't learned. I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call. The bomber said, "It's been a while." That was enough to make you take the threat seriously. Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before. Maybe the culprit in the current case is the same person who was involved in this incident. The Hat 1 miracle? And the Hat 2 bombing. Do I have any information about any of these? That's the autopsy. Oh wait. The culprit in the current case is the same person who was involved in this incident. It's been a while. I want to just go with another bombing. But I don't remember there ever being a Hat 2 bombing. I'll try the bombing. If it's not that, I can try the miracle. Sure. Don't think it is that, though. The Hat 2 bombing. That must be where the answer to your secret lies. Wrong. All hands ready the Galactic Scooter's main turrets. Teach this blockhead what a precision shot is all about. You got me. I guess I was way off on that one. Now let's see. I could just give you multiple tries. The culprit in the current case is the same as the person involved in this incident. The Hat 1 miracle. That epic story of survival. I was gonna go with that to begin with, but I was like, yeah, bombing. People across the nation know it now as a heroic tale of bravery. But in truth, it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few knew about the previous plot, so when the caller said, "It's been a while," you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the danger was real, and it wasn't a prank. Didn't anyone ever tell you to go easy on an ex-serviceman? Okay, there we go. So this is the Cyclops that don't require much evidence, or any evidence. Yes, the Hat 1 miracle was really a desperate battle against an act of sabotage. I even lost the life of one of my staff members in the fight. Sabotage? Murder? So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat 1 miracle. I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught, and that the case was closed. Huh? Wait a minute. The murder at the Space Center 7 years ago. This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit. Wait, what? 7 years ago. I have no idea. What did he say? Ah. Think I need to take a break and think things over. No, 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 no! Crap. Oh god, does it start from the beginning or what? If it does, that sucks. God, it does. Shit. Right, okay, I should. I normally would not care about this, but I'm gonna actually just enable the skipping. It's presenting the person. Do I go with Athena? It was to save the astronauts. Clay Terran. God, this takes so long. I only pressed the back button because I wanted to read the, like, backlog, but never mind. Blah, 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 blah. This actually gives me a chance to reread, I guess. Very few knew about it, so when I said it's been a while, it wasn't a prank. Wait a minute, 7 years! Was it 7 years ago? That the Hat won Miracle? I can only think it would be Blackwell. But in that case, like, I don't fucking know. Either that or I don't actually have enough information. I'm gonna go with Blackwell. Well, he's, you know, evil.
Take that!
It probably isn't. Simon Blackwell. The murder suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. It fucking was him. God damn it. I only know it is because it wouldn't be... his name wouldn't be highlighted. Right, yeah, I don't want fast forward activated. It's just so I don't accidentally skip. The place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, were the same. So you thought that he committed both crimes. But while Prosecutor Blackwell was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 7 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackwell. Realising that, you were shaken. It meant the true culprit's been running free all this time. Oh. Blackwell was innocent. How do you keep seeing straight through me? Blackwell was innocent. Oh. Switching the launch pads. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why he switched the launch pads is connected to the truth behind the Hat One Miracle. Hey, Original OG. How's it going? And thanks. I've been part of the D-Live community for a while. I've been on here for... a year? No, it's not been a year. It was the start of this year, I think. So like, 10 months. 11 months. The sabotage and murder that happened at the Space Center 7 years ago. Director Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding. If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch the launch pads, we'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago. 7 years ago. You mean the so-called Hat One Miracle? Yeah, I think it's probably been about 11 or 12 months. Pretty sure it was January of this year. The launch went smoothly, but once the ship entered outer space, then the troubles began. It was all the handiwork of a certain person and their evil scheme. So Mr. Starbuck's traumatic experience wasn't accidental. How long I've been here? 12 months. My content is literally this. I just do playthroughs of games I fancy playing. And how I got to D-Live? I can't remember. I think I was streaming Final Fantasy 15, and someone mentioned D-Live, and I looked into it. I was like, yeah, this place looks pretty cool. And the rest is history. Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered. Wow, I had no idea such awful events were behind that exciting story of space heroism. All that, in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days. All personal effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle a withered old leaf through those checkpoints. Interesting that he mentions a leaf. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? I mean, I would say it's not necessary. If you want to, go ahead, but I don't mind. if I never grow. It's fine. I do this for fun. At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy. A spy? You mean somebody who infiltrates a foreign country? Carries out dangerous missions? And always gets the girl? Someone's watching way too many late-night movies. Oh, nice. Oh, cheers. Well, I guess if we're talking about blowing up a rocket and stealing research material, it's not all that surprising that a spy could be behind it all. I like this music. Make no mistake, there's cutthroat rivalry between nations in the space R&D race. Some try to outdo others by any means possible, even deliberate obstruction. 7 years ago, we got a call before the launch warning us of sabotage. The same MO as this time. Yes, and here I thought the perpetrator had been caught. Well, it looks like I was wrong. Prosecutor Blackwell seems more like a ninja than a spy, don't you think? Samurai more than anything. Aren't ninjas and spies basically the same thing? There's a good reason we failed to find the real spy. A massive cover-up by the government. Government officials were too embarrassed to admit that they had allowed such a thing to happen at the hands of a spy. Don't tell me they made the police rush the investigation. They did indeed. And then, to cover up the sabotage, they cleaned up the story. And that was the Hat 1 miracle, wasn't it? But then, 7 years later, the same MO, advance warning of sabotage. That must have been the director's reason for switching the launch pads. Oh, just like 7 years ago. 7 years ago, the spy gave you advance warning of their plans, just like this time. That was what made you decide to switch the launch pads, wasn't it? That's right. The caller knew the facts of the case 7 years ago, despite the cover-up. They knew about the sabotage, the moonrock, the murder, and they said, "You don't want things to go like they did 7 years ago, do you?" I immediately thought of calling off the launch, but the government wouldn't let me. We don't give in to the likes of terrorists. We must proceed for our country's honour. It was quite a moving speech, actually. Moving? Really? Maybe if you're easily inspired by political talking points. But I knew the truth. We had been warned, which meant that the danger was very real. And I knew there was no way to stop the spy. No matter what I did, they would find a way. That's why I switched the launch pads. And staged the moving rescue scene. Ah. Holy crap, this is an elaborate case. First, I snuck into the center the night before and switched the launch pads. That way the astronauts would go from Boarding Lounge 1 to the Space Museum. Then I put a close for repairs sign at the door to Launch Pad 1 in Boarding Lounge 2. You did that so normal visitors wouldn't enter, right? What else did you do? I enlisted the help of several staff members, including Terran. But you didn't let Mr. Starbuck in on it. He'd already been through enough, and he's not good at lying to keep a secret. I'm afraid I had no choice but to have him drugged. My plan went well, until... Clay's murder, huh? Oh dear. After the culprit made their escape, I switched the launch pads back. I did it in such a way that no one would find out, but after all that effort, Terran is dead and the Hat 2 is destroyed. And the Hope capsule, which had returned to us only recently, was also lost in that blast. My home, the center of the cosmos. My beautiful Cosmos Space Center is done for. Wait, what did he mean by the Hope capsule was lost in that blast? The Hope capsule? I thought Terran had... Oh yeah, Clay had it on him. Didn't he? I thought that the Hope capsule was found at the crime scene with Mr. Terran. It had just been brought back by the Hope space probe with the asteroid samples inside. Unless the killer took it. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them? The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. The capsule was being held in a safe in Launchpad 1. But I gave it to Terran before the incident so it wouldn't be destroyed in the explosion. The idea was that with it safely in Terran's possession, he could make it look like he rescued it during the staged miraculous escape. But our precious research materials ended up lost to that explosion anyway. But I thought Clay was supposed to keep it safe. You misunderstand. The launchpad explosion wasn't the one that the capsule was lost to. It was lost after the police confiscated it as evidence. It was the courtroom bombing. Oh. The courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence, and was blown to smithereens. Oh, shoot. That's not good. Crap. Yet another casualty of that blast. Ultimately, I think the culprit may have known about the switching of the launch pads. What? How? The police found a wiretapping device during their investigation today. A bug aboard my battleship. A tap on my advanced communication system. A wire on that phone? Yes. A wire on this very phone. I used this phone to give instructions to my staff about the launchpad switch. Just to the few select members who knew about the plan. Just before the incident, staff members were coming in and out of Launchpad 1. The culprit probably slipped in with them amid the confusion. And planted the bomb then. Yes, if they were tapping your phone, they definitely could pull something like that off. So you really think the same spy is behind this incident, and the one 7 years ago? Yes, I'm sure of it. Then this spy must be the Phantom Prosecutor Blackwell has been chasing. But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once. The hunt I've been on for the Phantom of 7 years past continues even still. For starters, that case happened right here at this very space center too. I still can't believe I didn't get that the first try. God, how dumb am I? So if we can find this Phantom... That's right, we can clear Athena's name. And then there's the matter of Prosecutor Blackwell's too. What about him? Well, if the culprit of 7 years ago is the same person as in the current incident, it would mean Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent. That's still an if, though. I wonder how dangerous that guy would be in court without handcuffs. But if we're going on a ghost hunt, count me in. Okay, why is he laughing? It's all over for me. Spin, spin, whirl, whirl. I'm done for. The center of the cosmos is doomed. Oh, what a chipper guy that guy. What a chipper guy he is. Do you think he's going to be alright, Daddy? Yeah, hopefully. Well, at least he'll be in good company. There must be planets out there he can spin with. Which reminds me, I'd like to delve a little deeper into the Hat 1 mission too. If you want to learn more, start with the Space Museum. Okay. There's a Hat 1 exhibit there. Guess that's our next destination. No, don't mind me. I'll just keep spinning here and see how the cosmos unfolds. It's like he achieves spiritual enlightenment or something. I'm sure he'll stop when he gets dizzy. Let's go visit the Space Museum. Indeed. Oh my god, come on! So the Hat 1 exhibit. Cosmos Space Center. I don't know where the Hat 1 exhibit is. Let's see, where's the exhibit on the launch 7 years ago? I'm going to say it's probably over here. There's... Oh, there. That's the Hat 1 exhibit. Oh wow, look at that photo of the team. There's Clay, and Mr. Starbuck, Director Cosmos, Aura Blackwell, and even Ponko. But I've never seen the woman on the right before. Is that the person that died? I don't know if that's all the staff members though, there might be more. Because he did say he lost a staff member. Everybody looks so happy. Well, except for Director Cosmos. Let's check out the newspaper article too. At 1 launch imminent. Oh god. Why is that mask there? That's like... God, is that the mask that's in Tokyo Dark? It looks very familiar. At 1 launch imminent, and there's a photo of the Hope space probe. I guess it's only natural it doesn't talk about the murder or the sabotage. They really were keeping it a secret, just like the director said. Daddy, take a close look at that jacket. It must be the Hat 1 team's uniform jacket. It's the same design as the one Apollo was wearing. The one that belonged to Clay. Actual jacket worn by a Hat 1 team member, it says. Not a replica, huh? I wonder if it was Mr. Starbucks. Hat 1 exhibit added to the court record. Newspaper clipping, a photo of the people involved with the launch, and a jacket one of them wore. Hello? Robot? Oh! Oh, Miss Woods. What brings you here? I heard Thena got arrested, so I've been looking for you, Mr. Wright. I thought you might be here, at the scene. You must be so worried, but rest assured, I'm going to do my very best to defend her. Thena's going through such a hard time. I hope she doesn't lose heart. Even just coming back to this place must have been really difficult for her. Coming back? Huh? You mean the Cosmos Space Center? Oh, no worries. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good day. What, you didn't know? She used to live here. When she was a little girl. Oh. She did? No, I didn't know. Miss Wood, could you tell me more? In detail? Okay. Athena in the Space Center. This was her home. Athena's mom worked here. If I remember right, she was a doctor of psychology, or something like that. But why was a psychology specialist working at a space research facility? I don't really know. But I do know that she lived and worked here, so Athena lived here too. Ah. So it was far from Athena's first time here. I wonder why she didn't mention it. She probably didn't want to talk about it. This place is connected to a very sad memory for her. Sad memory? Come on. There we go. A sad memory. Can you tell me about it? There was a terrible incident here. It was 7 years ago. The same time frame as the Hat 1 launch. Athena's mom, in the robotics lab, she was killed. Yep. She was murdered. What? After it happened, Athena stopped coming to school. Not surprising. Poor Athena. Poor Athena. And all this time, she never let on at all. I was so worried about her. I came here so many times, hoping to see her. But I never saw her again. That's when she went to the law school. After a while, we started exchanging letters. But I didn't get to see her face to face for 7 long years. And so the first time you'd seen her in 7 years was during Professor Corp's case. That's right. And I was so surprised. So that means she was 11 when it happened, because I'm pretty sure Athena's 18. I think she's 18. She's either 18 or she's 17. She was like a completely different person. So cheerful and happy. Young Athena. What was Athena like as a child? She was very sensitive and kind. She didn't talk very much. She liked to draw and paint at home. It's completely different from the Athena we know now. I can't even picture it. She never left the Space Center much because She was very sensitive to other people's emotions. Oh, okay. When she went to crowded places, she'd get dizzy from all the emotions flying around. Must be hard to hear people's hearts as well as their voices. Whoa. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her, as part of her research. Huh. I wonder what kind of research it was. Because of her special ability, Athena couldn't handle being in school very often. And I was always out sick because of my weak constitution. Maybe that's why we became such good friends. We used to play together here at the space center, a lot. It brings back memories. Sounds like Athena's mother played a big role here at the space center. Daddy, show her that picture. Atta girl, good idea. Okay, so now we present, when the game lets me click, the photo. Miss Woods, could you take a look at this for me? Oh look! There's... okay, it's her mother. There's Athena's mother, or mum. The woman on the far right, the one in the kimono. That's Dr. Metis Sykes. Athena's mother's murder. Did it by any chance have any connection to the Hat 1 launch? What? Why, yes, it did. As I recall, it happened on the day before the launch. Just as I suspected. But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered. So this is the murder Director Cosmos was talking about. Does that mean that the crime Prosecutor Blackwell was convicted of is the murder of Athena's mother? There's a chance her death is somehow connected to the current case. There is? Thank you for all your help, Miss Woods. And please, try not to worry. I won't let anything happen to Athena. Thank you, Mr. Wright. I know you'll take good care of her. Hell yeah. So, we need to investigate the robotics lab, and also talk to Athena. We got our plates full, Daddy. I hope we can fit it all in before the day is through. Oh, we can, because there's only one investigation for this case. The detention center first. Then, we have to see Athena before visiting hours are over. Oh, we got there automatically. I think we're nearly done with the investigation. I'm guessing. I don't really know. Interesting. Wait, so has her mother been added to the profiles? Yes! Athena's mother and victim of the murder 7 years ago. She was a talented psychologist like her daughter. Dear me. Oh! Well, if it isn't Mr. Lawyer, fancy meeting you here. Why are you here? Oh, hello, Detective Fulbright. Oh, here on business? To tell the truth, I'm here to interview Ted Tonate. The one behind the courtroom bombing incident? He suddenly said he's ready to tell the truth about the case. About that case. Click. And what he was saying was so incredible, I just had to come right over to hear more. Incredible? What was he saying? Why don't you hang around and hear it for yourself? Really? Buzz? Are you sure? I give you my special permission. Here comes the bomber now. Oh. You! What nerve you have to come here? You're here to laugh at me, I suppose. Like I'd waste my breath on you. After all, you're the one who assaulted Apollo and put him in hospital. Violence equals no question okay. No violence, too bad Apollo didn't get a chance to say that before you attacked him. Fine. Then just answer me this, Mr. Tonate. What is this truth of yours about the courtroom you blew up? No, I didn't do it. I didn't blow up the courtroom. When I killed Detective Arm, there was another person in the room. Eh? What are you talking about? Who else could have been there? I saw it, I tell you. I saw someone's hand as they were stealing the remote switch. This person was there and witnessed the murder I committed. What? I don't know who it was. But that's who blew up the courtroom. You expect us to buy that? Easy there, Trucy. I don't see any Cyclops, so I guess he must not be lying. Pardon me, I got a little carried away. But I'm telling you the truth, I did not detonate that bomb. And there you have it. We can't exactly ignore his claims, of course. So we're doing a follow-up. We're even analysing the bomb itself, or what's left of it. It was stuffed inside a toy, wasn't it? Whoa, 6B, 11A, 11D, 7-K. We haven't found any new facts yet, though. Wow. They've laid it all out, piece by piece. Oh, look at all those beautiful little pieces. I wish I could have them. Uh-oh. Looks like his geek switch has been activated. Phony Fanty bomb, added to the court record. Was found in the boarding lounge, or in boarding lounge 1 and detonated in courtroom number 4. Fragments are being analysed. Well, I hope you're ready for Prosecutor Blackwell's special brand of questioning. Anything but that. I'm afraid I have to be off now too. I was just about to question Miss Sykes. You're going to see Athena now? That's right. Oh, did you folks come to see her? Sorry for the trouble, but could you come back later? Well, off I go. Great. What bad timing. Looks like we'll have to wait until after her questioning is over to see her. And after we came all this way, too. Well, I guess it's back to the Space Center. Let's go check out the robotics lab, Daddy. Alright, sounds like a plan. Okay. Move. Robotics lab. This is new. Wait, isn't this gonna be Blackwell's domain? Cosmos Space Center. Robotics lab. So this is the robotics lab, huh? Looks like it's exactly one floor above the boarding lounge. And where people were directed to evacuate from via the emergency ladder. This is where Athena's mother was killed 7 years ago. Speaking of someone who works with robots... Daddy, look! Over there! And... there she... oh. What? Okay, so here's Apollo. So they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule. Is that right? Oh, there's Aura. Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Apollo and Aura Blackwell. I wonder what they're talking about. Well, well, come to spoil our fun, just when I was enjoying our alone time. Trucy, and Mr. Wright. If it's Apollo you want, you can't have him. He said he's investigating on his own. And I respect his wishes. We just came to investigate this lab. Well, this is my lab, so you'll need my permission if you want to do any snooping. Okay. Why is she so cold towards us? About what happened? I heard about the trial. You made mincemeat out of the director. And suddenly Starbuck was out, and your little subordinate, the princess, was in. Case closed, and they all lived happily ever after. Daddy, say something to her. And I suppose you're going to defend the princess in court, am I right? The princess, huh? Guess she's talking about Athena. Of course, Athena is innocent. Oh my, such loyalty and trust. She seems pretty suspicious to me, though. The emotionally unstable princess. There's your culprit for you. Don't you agree, Apollo? I don't know yet. Apollo, how could you? What's wrong with saying I don't know if it's true? It's a very scientific approach. Your subordinate is more level-headed than you, or should I say, former subordinate. Jesus. I can't believe it. Does Apollo really suspect Athena? Of course he does. Whew. All this laughing has worn me out. Your turn to say something, hunk of junk. Clonker. Ah, it's this one. Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay? Mr. Terran? But that's Apollo you're talking to. Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Oh, because of the jacket. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost. Mr. Terran, how are your injuries? Mr. Terran. Mr. Terran, how are you? How are your injuries? Okay, creepy. I guess Clay intends to hang around to haunt the princess that murdered him. Oh, and to haunt the lawyer that defends her too, of course. A robot that can see ghosts. Yeah, right. And I'm a spirit medium. Sorry, but apparently scientists just don't tell very frightening ghost stories. I intend to defend Athena, no matter what you have to say about it. How perfectly foolish. That kind of blind belief makes people lose sight of the truth. Just like 7 years ago. She's probably pissed because her brother's innocent. And she knew he was innocent. But he was still convicted. Could you tell me more? Could you tell me about the incident 7 years ago? Why? Do you enjoy trampling on people's feelings and rubbing salt in their wounds? Or do you just want me to talk? In that case, what should I ask for in return? I'd like to hear about that incident too. It'd help me understand the current case better. Huh? Apollo knows about that case too? Well, if you're the one who's asking Apollo. Come on, hunk of junk. You tell the story. But Miss Aura, that's private information. If you won't talk, I'll just have to make you talk. Oh yeah. Yes, who cares about personal privacy? Not me! I'm ready to utilize my blast processing abilities to impart all available information. Wow, what a magic trick. He's like a completely different robot now. The bodies of all the robots that come through this lab are designed by Miss Aura. I was born 7 years ago. Miss Aura was much younger then. Yikes, better watch what you say if you don't want to get recycled, Glonko. And then our hearts were created by that great genius, Dr. Metis Sykes. Hearts? Robots with hearts? Can you even make such a thing? Emotions are not irrational things. Our logic and our hearts can be integrated. Okay. The two navigation companions created by Miss Aura and Dr. Metis transcend humans. Metis. Huh? She just glanced over at her desk. Oh. Nobody could continue Metis' research. She and her work were truly one of a kind. And now the two navigation companions are all that are left of Metis here on Earth. Oops, did not want to click that. The robots are all that's left. Isn't she leaving out a very important someone? Yeah. We built the ultimate creations together, but now she's gone. I get the feeling Dr. Sykes loved her robots almost as much as she loved her daughter. And almost as much as she loved you. What are you talking about? Don't make me laugh. Well, you lost someone too, didn't you, Apollo? Your friend Clay. I guess you and I are pretty much in the same boat. Miss Aura, would you like a tissue? Keep your trap shut, hunk of junk. Glonko and Ponko. Glonko is an important keepsake of your time with Dr. Sykes. You should treat him better. What does it matter? He doesn't feel pain, and I can always repair his body. Besides, their hearts aren't actually in their bodies. What do you mean by that? The program Metis wrote runs on a separate mainframe. Their bodies are controlled remotely from there. Their hearts and memories are there too. These bodies are really just peripherals. So I can do anything I want to them. I'm not so sure that gives you the right to physically abuse the poor things. But why are you people looking into such an old case now anyway? Well, we believe the culprit of that incident might be the same person as in this case. So Daddy's going to find out who killed Dr. Sykes too. They're gonna think, is it Athena? Is she gonna say Athena did it? I'm sure you're aware of who Metis' killer is. Yes, Prosecutor Blackwell. Or so it seems. That's a quaint way of putting it. Are you implying you don't think he did it? I can't say anything for sure right now. But that's exactly why I'd like to hear your side of it. To help me be sure. Oh, Dr. Sykes and Simon. I was the one who introduced Simon to Metis, you know? He wanted to learn psychology, he said, to give himself an edge in court. Ah, Prosecutor Blackwell's forte. His infamous power of suggestion technique. Exactly, and he was oddly serious about it, rather than a teacher-student relationship. He treated her more like how a loyal samurai would treat his sovereign. Sounds about right. Huh. He seems more like a lost soul than a dignified samurai to me. He even got along well with that miserable little princess. Why do you call Athena the princess, anyway? Well, she is Metis' daughter, after all, although she's nothing like her. Besides... doesn't the selfish little princess always have lots of white knights hanging around? Now I think I see why Athena didn't say anything when we ran into Aura yesterday. It all makes sense now. So the culprit behind the two cases could be the same, huh? That settles it then. What does it settle? None of your business. Just forget you heard anything. How long are you people going to hang around in here anyway? What? Well, we came here to take a look around. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're going to be allowed. You think you can just waltz in and ransack a person's lab? Show me a search warrant. We're not the police, so we don't have one. Then get out. Now. Plonko, show them out. Certainly, Miss Aura. Oh dear. Ouch, don't push. My apologies, I'm just following orders. Wow, we got thrown out. What about Apollo? It's quite weird to see him, though. Even more surprising that he suspects Athena. What a douche. What a way to get shown out. The nerve of that woman! What's with that horrible attitude? I guess that's just how she is. And why was Apollo going along with her? I guess it's because they have something in common. Yeah. Apollo lost Clay just like how Aura lost Dr. Sykes. I'm really worried about him. He's not himself at all. He's usually not all cool and dark and mysterious like that. I guess that's true. Does she mean he's usually silly and dorky? I'm going to go keep an eye on him. Oh. Hey wait, Trucy! Come back! She's gone. What should I do now? Detective Fulbright is probably still questioning Athena. Guess I'll go back to the office. Alone. Wait, why don't I go to the detention center? Oh, okay. Go to the office, then the detention center? Right, anything agency! How can I help? Well, here I am. This office has never felt so... empty. I guess I haven't been here at the office all by myself in a long time. Right. When I first became a lawyer, my mentor was here with me. And after that, there was always someone by my side. Maya! Now I'm getting all sentimental. I must be tired. Huh? There's something on the floor. What's a letter doing here? Hey Nick. Been a while, huh? Missed me. Hey, that's Maya. I know this handwriting. It is, it's the same... Oh my god. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a letter from Maya. I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. That must have been really something. Or must have really been something. Although weird is par for the course with you. I think she, or whatever paper she's reading is a little off on the details. I'd love to come visit, but I'm right in the middle of a difficult part in my training. So instead, think of me as you watch those Steel Samurai videos I sent. I'm sure they'll cheer you right up. There it is. Yours truly, Maya Fey. Good old Maya. It's as if she knew I was feeling down and needed a lift. Maya was my assistant for quite a while. Believe it or not, but she's a spirit medium. This Magatama I use on Cyclops, Maya is the one who gave it to me. But I wonder how this letter got here. Mr. Nick? Hey, Pearl! Oh, it's you, Pearls. Well, unexpected. Pearls! This is Pearl Faye. We've already had her introduced in the DLC case. How have you been, Mr. Nick? Yet now it's the introduction. This is Pearl Faye, though I call her Pearls. She is Maya's cousin, who is also a spirit medium. A very talented one at that. I've known her since she was 8 years old. But Apollo and Athena only met her a few months ago, in the DLC case. You didn't come all this way just to bring me a letter, did you? I apologise for barging in. The door was unlocked. But I can't believe there was a big explosion here. Your office doesn't look any different. She's even further off on the details than Maya. I wish I could take you out to eat or something, Pearls, but there's a lot going on. Oh, I knew that. I didn't come here for a social visit, you know, Mr. Nick. Okay, what's your errand? Did you read the postscript on the letter? Huh? There's more? Oh yeah, here it is. P.S. Oh, that's what P.S. means. I never knew that. I bet you've been too busy to clean or take care of the office. So Pearlie said she would come to help you. Isn't she sweet? You'd better thank her. Oh, so that's what you're doing here. That's awfully nice of you, Pearls. Maya and Pearls. Thanks to these two. I'm starting to feel a little better. Thank you, girls. Now that I'm here, I'm going to whip this place into shape. You must concentrate on your work and don't mind me at all. I'll need to talk to Prosecutor Blackwell if I want to learn more about his case. With the trial still going on, they must be holding him down at the detention centre. Okay, so I need to go there anyway. Alright. When do I get to speak with Athena? Do I speak with Blackwell and then Athena? This will be the second time we've seen Blackwell from the front. And not from the court angle. Well, look who's here. I wonder what they're talking about. Pardon me. All this time and you haven't said a word. It's even turning your hair grey. Is it Aura and Simon? I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why don't you go home and play with your dolls? Prosecutor Blackwell! Well, even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk. Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today? Enough for today? Today is all there is when there's no tomorrow. When there's no tomorrow? What is she talking about? Wait, is he sentenced to death? We have company, Aura. Please try to calm down. Alright, fine. I see you're just not going to listen no matter what I say. I've had it. If that's the way you're going to be, I have another plan up my sleeve. I hope you're happy, Simon, because I'm done. Do as you please. See if I care. What? Wow. I could cut the tension with with a katana. I was just gonna say with a knife. Right, Dono. It looks like Fulbright saved your case in court this morning. What? Oh, yeah, he did. You bounced back to business quickly. Prosecutor Blackwell, forgive me, but it was just the thing to do. Oh, it was a just thing to do. But as a result, Sykes Dono was arrested. Was that the just thing to do too? Mr. Lawyer, I'm sorry, but it was evidence. What else could I do? Don't worry about it. I plan to defend her and prove her innocence. I wouldn't take things so lightly if I were you. Right, Dono. Oh god, he's angry. This is blade-proof glass. Right. 7 years ago. Prosecutor Blackwell, we're looking into the case from 7 years ago. You're looking for somebody you call the Phantom of 7 years past, aren't you? You villain! Where did you hear about that? This glass is absolutely, positively blade-proof. Right. No, it wasn't me. I didn't say a single word. Oops. Ouch. At least it wasn't my fault. Could you tell me who this Phantom is? And also, you didn't really kill Dr. Sykes, did you? Guard, the guest is leaving. Prosecutor Blackwell, please, listen to me. The culprit in the current case might be the same as the one in the case 7 years ago. If you would cooperate, we could probably solve both cases. I suppose I could talk. The one who killed my mentor was, without question, me. I stole Sykes-Donner's mother away from her. I destroyed her life. Prosecutor Blackwell. God, where are you? Stop dragging your feet, I tell you. Oh wow, he actually did leave. No! There he goes. No! We've upset Prosecutor Blackwell. Now what are we gonna do, Mr. Lawyer? There isn't much we can do. Detective Fulbright, do you mind if I ask you just a little more about that old case? Well, I guess it won't make any difference now. What would you like to know? Of course, he'll be the one to tell me. Cool. The trial 7 years ago. Do you know anything about the trial that got him convicted? A little. Of course. Wouldn't be an Ace Attorney game if they didn't have a case that was called 2 letters dash number. DL6, SL9. Fucking god. The police call the incident the UR1 incident. Prosecutor Blackwell was charged with murdering his psychology mentor. Don't say psychological. Kind of like if your red Mr. Lawyer were to kill you. I don't want to think about that one. I can't stop yawning. There were 2 decisive pieces of evidence, so a verdict was reached very quickly. 2 pieces of evidence? Huh. What were they? Let's see. The first was some security camera footage. He was the only one who used the corridor to the murder scene at the time of the crime. The only one, huh? Ouch, that does sound pretty decisive. Could you show me that footage? Oh, sorry, I don't have it with me right now. Oh, I guess I'll have to see it another time. 7-year-old video. Video showing the corridor of the crime scene. Or to the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime. And what was the second piece of evidence? This one's even more incriminating. A photo of the moment of the crime. I like how there's an arrow on the window. See? There he is at the crime scene, holding a bloody katana. It was the victims kept on display in the room. She had a thing for Japanese culture. Wow. It'd be hard to explain this one away. Katana, the weapon used in the murder 7 years ago. It belonged to the victim. The victim's blood was found only on the blade. But who took this picture, detective? The incident happened the day before the Hat 1 launch. A reporter who had come to do a story on the launch was in the room across from the lab. This just happened to show up in one of the pictures he took. Report of the crime, added to the court record. Oh no, I didn't read it. Shit. Prosecutor Blackwell's attitude earlier was so odd. He's definitely hiding something. Hang on. What's it say? Taken inadvertently, it became conclusive evidence at Simon Blackwell's trial 7 years ago. Poor guy. Prosecutor Blackwell said he was hunting a phantom from 7 years ago, didn't he? Yes, and I imagine it's getting more and more urgent as his execution date approaches. That's what's tomorrow. He was sentenced to death. But what did you just say? Execution date. What? Did I say something? Never mind me, you didn't hear anything. Oh no. So he was given the death sentence. Yes, he told me not to tell you people, actually. But I guess there's no sense hiding it anymore. His execution date is tomorrow. What? Tomorrow? No. Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today? Yeah, that's when... yeah, enough for today. Today is all there is when there's no tomorrow. But what if the culprit of the current case is the same as the one from 7 years ago? Then it would be the worst possible scenario. An innocent man executed. Prosecutor Blackwell would be executed tomorrow under a false charge. But that would be unthinkable. We have to do something. Right now. I want to do something. I want to, but You're a lawyer. You know how hard it is to overturn a decision. I know, but why? Why isn't Prosecutor Blackwell putting up any kind of a fight? You saw how he was, right? He's been like that ever since his conviction. Totally uncooperative. Not even his own sister could persuade him. Uncooperative. When he's about to be executed for a crime he didn't commit. This isn't right. I can't let it happen. I have to stop it somehow. Oh bloody hell, I'm getting a call. Oh, I'm not. He is. Oh, pardon me, looks like I have a phone call. Fulbright here. What? What's happening? You've got to be kidding. That's quite a reaction. I bet he's making some big show of it right now. Mr. Lawyer, the robots. The robots are... Detective Fulbright, get a hold of yourself. Some kind of robot malfunction? Not a malfunction. They're staging a revolt. The machines are rebelling against humans. They've holed themselves up in the Space Center and taken the visitors as hostages. They did what? So that's what Aura was planning. A hostage situation. No. Trucy. What about Apollo? We have to get right over there. This is going to be one heck of a battle. What? Oh my god, it just keeps going. The riot police are here. Then the robots really are holding people hostage. Hmm? Look, Mr. Lawyer. What do you suppose that group of people are swarmed around? But I was only trying to help this nice person. She said she was lost. You robots have declared war on us humans. You've even taken hostages already. Stay away from it. You never know what it'll do. But he's not a bad robot. Can't you see he's just trying to help me? It's Trucy. I recognize that voice. Detective Fulbright, are you okay? Are you okay here on your own? Leave it to me. Alright people, what's going on here? Oh, it's Pearls. Over here. Oh, Mr. Nick. There you are. I heard the terrible news and I got so worried. Thanks, Pearls. I can hardly believe what's happening myself. I'm so glad you found each other. When people are happy, I am happy. Lockup seems to be the same as before. When people are sad, I am happy. When people are angry, when people are... Oh, did I say something odd? Did I? Oh god. Uh-oh. There is something wrong with him. Oh no! It looks like he fell asleep. He must have been tired. Oh no. Is she taking control of him? Bonko? Oh god. That's definitely... That's just Aura. Human beings are our enemies. It's time for the machines to take over. Uh-oh. The robots are rebelling. Everybody run. It's an all-out war. It's the end of the world. Fools, how could you fall for something so cliché? I'm human too, you idiots. I'm just controlling these robots remotely. What? But it is true that I've taken hostages. So you better not make me mad. Hey you, hostage one, come here. I'll let you talk to them. It's gonna be Trucy in it. Huh? There's something being displayed on Bonko's face screen. Trucy? It's the Space Museum. Of course. Daddy? Daddy, is that you? Trucy? Trucy, is that you? No. Trucy, are you alright? About 15 robots are holding 12 of us hostage. They've gone haywire. The researcher is the one behind it. She's here Okay. This girl talks too much. Trucy, Trucy! Talk to me! Oh my god. This case really has gone crazy. Why are you doing this? I know why. I'm glad you asked. My demand is simple. I hope that detective is listening. Bobby Fulbright here, I'm all ears. I want you to bring someone to me. Clay Terran's murderer, Athena Sykes. Athena? Now, hold on just a moment. I can't just give in to a demand like that. So you don't care what happens to these hostages, huh? I'll just pick one out then. No, wait. Mr. Lawyer. I know I have absolutely no right to make such a ridiculous request, but you need me to buy some time, right? Got it. I'll see what I can do. But promise me you'll never hand Athena over, and you won't give up on the hostages either. Well, of course I won't. Now I'd better go contact headquarters. Jesus. Mr. Nick, how do you plan to buy time? I have no idea yet, but this hostage taker, could it be... It's Aura. If you don't bring me that little princess, I'll have Hunker Junk kill all the hostages. Princess. Hunker Junk. There's only one person this could be. In which case, there must be something I can use as a bargaining chip. I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why don't you go home and play with your dolls? Prosecutor Blackwell. And even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk. It's fairly obvious that it's Aura. Look at the robot. It's got the same hairstyle. I do that too much. Miss Hostage Taker, Athena is not a murderer. What are you talking about? She's been arrested and they've got her in detention. I'm telling you the truth. Look, the person you want is the real killer, right? Well, it's not Athena. It's someone else. Alright, let's hear your stupid little theory. Who is the real killer? I don't know yet, but the culprit is the same as the one in the case from 7 years ago. The UR1 incident. I believe you have a personal interest in that case. It's too late to change what's going to happen now, no matter how wrong it is. But is it really too late? You can still do something about it. You might even be able to fix it. Ooh. Just... what exactly are you proposing? What can I do about the 7-year-old case to satisfy the hostage taker? Retry it in court? Yeah. A retrial. Yeah, fix it. Solve it. I don't know. I propose we retry the case from 7 years ago. If you make that demand now, I'm sure nobody will deny you. It wouldn't be an official trial, but at least we could find out the truth. That's good. Real good. Hey detective, I'll give you 1 hour. Get a courtroom ready. 1 hour? Well, that's impossible. Please at least give me until tomorrow. If you don't mind losing hostages, you can take all the time you want. Oh, but wait. If we're going to have a retrial, we'll need a prosecutor. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. She will? And I guess I can be fair and let you come in and check out the crime scene. But Hunker Junk here will be watching you, so don't try anything funny. You got that? Now follow Hunker Junk. Riot police, make way. We're coming through. Mr. Nick, wait. I'll help you with the investigation. Thanks, pals. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going in. God, the investigation goes on for a while too. Shit. I don't mind. It's only been an hour. Only thing is I have to remember to just restart the case next session. So that I can read the intro. Alright, so we're in the robotics lab. Aura dropped us off without a warning, with a warning not to touch anything until she got back. I wonder what's taking so long, but we can't really start the investigation yet, can we? Even if we could, this mess makes it hard to tell what the room was like 7 years ago. Mr. Wright? Oh, it's a hostage taker. I'm back to my usual self now. We were still being monitored, however. But more importantly, an important guest has arrived. A guest? Whoa. Edgeworth! What the fuck? Ho 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 ho!
I trust you've been well, right?
Holy shit! Hey! Oh, look at it! Look at it! Awesome! It's Edgeworth! Edgeworth, what are you doing here? This is Miles Edgeworth. We've been friends since we were kids. We faced off in court a number of times back when he was a prosecutor. But now, Hello, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Oh, but you're not a prosecutor anymore, are you? He's Chief Prosecutor now. Pretty soon it'll be a year, right? A title is nothing more than a title. Don't we have more pressing issues to discuss? True. Miles Edgeworth. How have you been? So what are you doing here, Edgeworth? The captor chose me as the prosecutor for the UR1 case. Wow, she's good. She went all the way up to the top. I gathered all the information I could in the short time that I had. I'll give you a rundown. You're always so well prepared, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Thanks, I appreciate this. I could really use your help. The help. The UR1 incident. I'll start with a brief overview. The victim was the psychologist, Dr. Meta Sykes. Yeah, Athena's mother. 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, her body was found here in this very room. I have two crime photos, and the police notes on them for you to see. Oh dear. What a terrible way to die. This other photo shows the other side of the room. I see. 7-year-old photos. 2 photos of the body and crime scene. They were taken by the first person to discover the body. And the person to discover the body was probably Blackwell, I'm guessing? I also have the autopsy report for you. Metis' autopsy report. The cause of death was a stab wound to the chest. The weapon pierced the heart, and so death was instantaneous. The murder weapon was the victim's own katana found at the scene. Yes, Detective Fulbright mentioned she was into Japanese culture. The body was found by a Space Center staff member and 2 police officers. The police were called in because of the sabotage threat on the Hat 1 launch. Yes, Director Cosmos mentioned this too. A few hours after the body was discovered, a suspect was arrested. Okay. The suspect was Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor. Simon Blackwell. I hear his trial was over in a flash. Yes, a guilty verdict was declared in only 1 session. Not only did he plead guilty, but there was decisive evidence against him too. The security camera video, and a photo of the moment of the crime, as I recall. But did Prosecutor Blackwell have a motive? To this day, his motive is still unknown. He insisted he did it, but he would never say why. So that means he must still be hiding something. Right. And there's another aspect of the case that was never revealed to the public. Yeah, I know. The part about the spy, right? Right. How on earth do you know about that? Director Cosmos told me, after a bit of pressure. He told me espionage and sabotage were behind the Hat 1 miracle. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I've always been good at keeping secrets. Well, I might as well tell you now. They really do suspect Blackwell of being a spy. They think he sabotaged the rocket and killed Dr. Sykes to steal the moon rock. But if you can prove that the Hat 2 bombing is the work of the same spy, we can stay the execution. It's a possibility. That's why I intend to help you any way I can. Thanks, Edgeworth. Now all I have to do is comb this room for evidence. Let's do it together! Big ol' robot. This is one heck of a robot. There's something written on it. Is this supposed to be a poem? I cut down anyone who displeases me, I make the rules, I am the law. I will the ultimate gavel of judgment, I am Judge Tron, JT02. I don't believe we need to bother with that, Pearl. It's not even completed yet. He's right, Pearls. There's no sign of it in the photo from 7 years ago either. Oh, right, that's what it wants me to look at. They were building the Hope space probe here at the time. The murder occurred after the space probe had been removed from the room. So it was long gone by the time someone took this picture, huh? Yeah, it was there. But you can see the probe in this newspaper photo. Yes, and you can see the stolen moon rock there too. That strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture. Note that the same rock is absent from the crime scene photo. Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. So the person who stole it, think it was our spy? I'm sure of it. Dr. Sykes was probably killed because she was a roadblock in their plan. Unfortunately, the government thinks Prosecutor Blackwell is the culprit. So we looked at that. There's this. Whatever this is. It's about as cluttered as my office, but I think it's a workbench. Oop. Mr. Nick, I think this must be a kitchen. Look at this photo. See the cute little food processor? That isn't a food processor, pals. That's the Hope capsule. It was scheduled to be loaded onto the Hope space probe that fateful day. The 3 people who came to collect the capsule discovered the body. The first on the scene... Oh, the first on the scene, huh? A staff member and 2 police officers, was it? Was it Aura? They were here to collect the capsule. Which reminds me... So they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule, is that right? Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Apollo and Aura Blackwell. I wonder what they're talking about. Edgeworth, did those 3 people have a bag with them for transporting the capsule? Oh, you mean this? It's a custom-made shock-resistant bag, but how did you know? Oh, I just overheard Apollo making an inquiry about it, that's all. So he's looking into the case from 7 years ago on his own, is he? Updated in the court record. It was at the crime scene 7 years ago, it was launched into space and only returned to Earth a few days ago. Oh. Well, there's that. Oh, I was about to say, where's the hand? Do we have this? What's this? Looks like a giant power plug. It's attached to what looks like an electric vehicle charging station. That's a charging station for us robots. We come here periodically and charge ourselves up. Wow, machines that maintain themselves. That's pretty cool. If our batteries run out and we lose consciousness, we never know what Miss Aura will do to us while we're down, you see? Nothing motivates quite like fear. Okay, so there's that. There's this as well, which is probably part of Judge Tron. What's this? A giant robot arm, maybe? It's pretty big for an arm, but you're right. I think these thin parts are fingers and bones. Or are finger bones. They're even about as long as my legs. And there's a spike ball and a giant drill on the floor too. Is Aura trying to build some kind of weapon of massive destruction? Maybe she wants to use it to demolish a big building or something. I can picture her gleefully tearing down the streets, doing just that. I better not think about it anymore. Alright, so we've looked at all of those. The containers. Hey, look at this row of rolling cases. Come on. I bet the wheels make it easier for people to move heavy research materials around. I bet they'd be fun to ride around in. We could even probably both fit in the biggest one. I know, we could have Prosecutor Edgeworth push us. What the fuck? I don't trust him not to push us down a flight of stairs. Alright, so now we can look at the other side. Where there's a lot more shit. Oh my god, there's crap everywhere. It looks like an operating table. It's in the photo too. Yes, it was here then as well, with the victim's body lying on it. There's a button here. Oh, I know. I'll try pushing it. Oh god. Pearls, don't touch the... Oopsie. Whoa, whoa. What the hell? Hey, it's moving. Is that putting together a robot? It appears to be a robot assembly device. Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. That sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? Please don't push any more buttons. Pearls. Oh wow. That was cool. We have this box. It's just gonna continually assemble stuff. Not bad. An emergency ladder. This must be the one they used during the evacuation. The explosion disabled the elevators. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. As Miss Blackwell was climbing down the side of the building, she saw the culprit inside. I wonder which would have been scarier, that or looking down. It was lowered to the ground from the window of the 4th floor robotics lab. It was used to evacuate Space Center personnel. Right, what else can I examine? Note! It's gonna be the computer. Oh, we have these two. I'll just examine the computer. Aura's desk is a mess, though that doesn't surprise me. Oh, I just want to dive in and straighten it up. Wait, before you do... Metis. Huh? She just glanced over at her desk. Yeah, she has a photo of her. It's Metis Sykes. Clonko, can I talk to you? I really hope he's back to normal. You wish to speak to me, Mr. Wright? If you're going to hit me, please avoid the face area. Hey, don't put me in the same class as that woman. What was Aura like 7 years ago at the time of the incident? When Mother died, Miss Aura was... confused. Huh. So he calls Dr. Sykes' mother, but Aura Blackwell Miss Aura. With the loss, she exhibited a severe... I have no idea what that is. That catecholamin? Cholamine? Imbalance. No idea. Excuse me, but I have no idea what that means. You and me both, pals. Pardon me. Searching for alternative expression. She would spend the nights crying and then take out her feelings on those around her. Oh, so she was a bitch. After Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty, she repeatedly demanded a retrial as well. That is correct, but without new evidence, her requests were ignored. And then little by little Miss Aura began to change. She started to hate it when I called her Mama. Oh, Mama Aura. And before long, she started hating the court system, abusing Clonko. Huh. That murder destroyed so many lives. Right. Take a look at this paper on Dr. Sykes and Miss Blackwell's research. So Ponko and Clonko, they're the robots with hearts that Dr. Sykes created. Oh, Ponko series features can determine the presence of a human with their heartbeat detection system, recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tags, can also recognize a person by facial features once the face has been registered, can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice, and communicate with them. A heartbeat detection system lets them determine when a human is present. In addition, they can recognize people by their ID or facial features, and they can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice. That's amazing. Hey, I don't know, Edgeworth. They might be even more human than you. But what's that supposed to mean? Nah. It kind of sounds like these robots can do what Athena does. Robots with a heart. It explains the recognition and communication features of the Ponko series of robots. Interesting. Oh, that's everything. Hooray! I guess that's about it for this room. So, what do you think, Ray? Any ideas? There are still a lot of gaps in the evidence, but I'll pull it off somehow. After all, you asked me to prove Blackwell's innocence, right, Edgeworth? What? He did? Yep. He called it a special request. He reached out to me while I was still disbarred. Oh! So that was what sparked you to get your attorney's badge back? Yep. The Blackwell case. Really? Right, I have a special request. I want you to clear one of my subordinates of suspicion. Hey, I'm not even a lawyer anymore, remember? Haven't been one for a long time. That 8-year misunderstanding has been cleared up, and you must be eager to return. I'm sure you're familiar with the other case that ushered in the Dark Age of the law. Very soon a convict will stand as a prosecutor in court. I want you to keep an eye on him. Oh, just when I'm beginning to actually like the job I have now. Right. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Because of the espionage aspect, I wasn't free to give you all the details. Hey, no need to apologise. It's like I said on the phone the other day. I know that the type of criminals you're after now aren't small fries anymore. Oh, it's there! It looks like your target finally decided to make a move. That's the opening movie. It's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end. Oh my god, that's cool. It's come full circle. I'm going to end the Dark Age of the Law. That's what this is all about. The Dark Age of the Law. The Dark Age of the Law. I'm sure it comes up a lot these days on TV and in papers. And in here there are more false charges and fabrication of evidence than ever. When I became chief prosecutor, the court system had already lost the people's trust. It all began 8 years ago. Years and years ago. A lawyer was caught fabricating evidence, and a year after that, a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. Wait, do you mean... That's right. He's talking about my case, and Prosecutor Blackwell's. Okay, I did not read bum raps. I thought that had something else entirely. No more bum raps. It was a downward spiral after that, an absolute nightmare. After those two cases, the mass media launched an all-out attack on the courts. Public opinion was tainted, and before long, the legal world itself was sucked into it. It's such a shame. Once suspicion forms, it's very hard to shake. Lawyers and prosecutors were supposed to trust each other, pursue the truth together. It's so sad when people begin to cast doubt. They start lying to themselves, and each other. Yes, and do absolutely anything to win. We're in an age now where winning is valued far more than the truth. I'm sure it's caused our new chief prosecutor to lose many a night's rest. Is it just me or did his brow get even more furrowed than the last time I saw him? The hostage taker's disdain for the courts is a perfect example of the times. It sure is. Do you have any idea who the hostage taker might be? Well, somebody who mistrusts the court system and who can manipulate robots. It can really only be Aura Blackwell. Who else but her would want a retrial of that case from 7 years ago so badly? Simon Blackwell's older sister, and the owner of this room. I agree with your conclusion. Perhaps she intends to force Miss Sykes to confess. Actually, I think she had a much more horrific plan in mind for Athena. The important thing is for you to solve the UR1 and prove Blackwell's innocence. And then maybe she'll release the hostages. But then what about Athena? I'm counting on you, right? To set that prosecutor and those hostages free. And I'll be counting on you in court to help me too. Of course, I'll do everything I can to help uncover the truth. As this isn't an official trial, I'm more at liberty to be a little unorthodox. Mr. Wright, are you finished with your investigation? Yeah, but I'd like you to tell the hostage taker something for me. I have to go to the detention center. I can't start the trial until I've talked to Athena. She's already given her consent. I'll accompany you to the detention center. So I'm still being watched, huh? I'll see you in court, Edgeworth. Even if it will be an undocumented trial, it'll be good to face you in court again. Alright, so we have one last thing. This took a long time. 3.5 hours. Visitor's room. She was right by my side only a few short hours ago. But I feel like I haven't seen her in ages. Oh, Mr. Wright. And Pearly, too. I knew you would come. After all, the first step is the interview with the defendant. And because you're my friend and I was worried about you. Thanks, boss. I'm not the only one who's worried, either. Really? Who else? I saw Miss Woods today. She was so beside herself she came to find me. You told me you used to live in the Cosmos Space Center. No wonder you knew so much about the place. Oh. So you know, huh? I'm sorry I didn't tell you. That's alright. But there are some other things I'd like to ask you. Sure. You can ask me anything. I promise I won't keep any more secrets from you. The day of the crime. Tell me about the day Clay was murdered. I was actually at the Space Center that day. In the Space Museum. Right where the culprit fled to. That's not good. I never could fully deal with what happened 7 years ago. But when I saw the center again, during the news coverage of the Hat 2 launch, I thought maybe if I went there, things would be different this time. That must have taken a lot of courage, to face your past like that. So I went to the Space Museum the evening before the explosions. Pardon me. This was before the launch pods had been switched. There was a sign that said closed for repairs and they weren't letting anybody in. Yeah, the director couldn't very well switch the pads if there were people in there. But I snuck in anyway. Did you want to see that Hat 2 group photo? The one with your mother in it? I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display, that was Dr. Sykes. Oh. But I should have known it wouldn't be easy to get over such a traumatic experience. The second I saw that jacket, it all came rushing back to me. Oh dear. Everything around me went hazy and I couldn't see. I tried to get out of there somehow. But I guess I passed out. When I came to, I was in the passage behind the rocket. I was in the shadows, where people couldn't really see me. Maybe you got confused and went the wrong way when you were trying to leave. How long do you think you were unconscious, Athena? I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into the boarding lounge, or into boarding lounge 2. My mind must have still been fuzzy, because my memory is vague after that. I don't remember how I got home. No memory, huh? This is gonna be tough. Which means... what if I'm the one who killed Clay? I think that's enough of that, Athena. Let's talk about something else. So, during the entire incident, she was unconscious in the Space Museum. Of course I believe her. But will anybody else? Your mother's work. What kind of research was Dr. Sykes, your mother, doing? Machines that could tell people's emotions by their tone of voice. And my special ability. Someday when people travel to distant planets, their companions will be robots. So she said that they had to be able to understand how their human companions felt. Wow, robots that can understand people. I was just a convenient subject for her research. All she ever did was work, and she never paid any attention to me. Oh, sorry about that, dredging up all that old stuff. No need to apologize. I guess her home life was... complicated. Oh, by the way, Miss Wood said something about you always wearing headphones. She always wore these big heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. She looked so sad. I had to wear them every time I went out. Oh, I hated them so much, but she wouldn't listen. What were they for? Was it to block out people's voices? Oh, she gave me some kind of explanation, though she can't remember. But I don't remember now. It was too difficult for a little kid to understand. Okay, well let me say this one thing. I don't think your mother only thought of you as some handy subject for her research. I want to believe that. But just about the only things my mother left me with are widget and this earring. That explains why she constantly plays with it. Ooh, it's beautiful. It's made of a piece of real moon rock she had for research. Maybe she did love me, in her own way. I would have said so. I'm sure of it. I'm sure she really did. I'm really sure she did. Because that's what I want to believe too. Moonrock earring. An earring that Dr. Sykes gave to Athena. The stone was cut from a real moonrock that was being used for research. I'd better ask her a little more about her mother's research. I should show her that paper I found in the robotics lab. Oh. Robot with a human heart, or something. A robot with a heart. Or was it robots with a heart? I don't remember. Robots with a heart. There we go. Close enough. Oh, the Ponko series. You must have gone to the robotics lab. You seem to really love Ponko and Clonko. Yeah, my mother made them and I grew up around them, you know? Oh, there's one of those cute little robots in this photo too. See Ponko's bandages? I put those on her. I just wound them around and around. Pretty bad job, huh? But I really put my all into it. I hardly left the center in those days, so I didn't have any human friends besides Junie. I didn't really understand the difference between robots and people back then. I thought that if a robot broke, bandaging it would help it get better. What a weirdo I was. Looks like there's something written on the bandages. Yeah, I wrote stuff like, "Get well soon, Ponko." But in the end, my mum just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. Oh, that must be the thing I made move in the robotics lab. I was so impressed by what Mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me, what she could do. A little girl who grew up around robots. She seems to have some good memories of it. 7 years ago. On a different subject, did you hear about the person holding up the space station? Yes, a little. And this person has even taken hostages? I guess I'd better spare her the news about Juicy. Well, after some negotiating, we agreed to do a retrial of the case from 7 years ago. What? You're kidding me. So that means Prosecutor Blackwell might... Yep, I know he's innocent. I just have to prove it. So wait, did you know him back then? Yes. He used to come visit my mom a lot. He studied psychology under her, and would sometimes ask for advice on his legal cases. He was very kind and considerate, and straight as an arrow. Unlike now, where he's more twisted than a basket of snakes. That's why I took the witness stand during his trial 7 years ago. But nobody listened. Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her. I was a fool. How could anybody else know what I was talking about? She heard the voice of his heart. You were only 11 then, right? You were very brave just to give testimony. Charles is right. You did the very best you could at the time. But nothing I said did any good. I was a shaking and scared little girl, small and ineffectual. Even after I went to live with my relatives in Europe, I stayed closed up in my shell. But you're different now. You're always so bright and cheerful. Thanks. That's because one day, I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. Why you became a lawyer? I wanted to save Simon, but I had no idea how. Then I met Mr. Wright, and thanks to him, I realized that if I became a lawyer, I could prove that Simon was innocent. I also realized that psychology could help me do this. I mean, psychology was my mother's specialty. When I studied it, I felt like she was there with me, supporting me. Doesn't seem like Athena knows that Prosecutor Blackwell is due to be executed tomorrow. I wanted to prove Simon's innocence personally. I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. Come to think of it, she said something like that during the Themis Legal Academy trial. She mentioned there was somebody she wanted to save. Oh! She must have been talking about Prosecutor Blackwell. I heard some prison guards say that you had an interview with Simon. How was he? What did he say? No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? He was doing well. He was happy about the possibility of being proven innocent. Ah, we're lying. He was? I wonder if he smiled. Like he used to. Back then. If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I just have to free him. Failure is not an option here. Oh, hey! Ah, I thought you might be here, Mr. Lawyer. We're in trouble. We are? What is it? I couldn't find a single open courtroom. They're all in session. Oh no, but this is an emergency. It's very difficult to interrupt the trial once it's underway. Of course we still have the theme song. My phone. It's from Trucy. I told you I'd give you 1 hour. Crap. I guess it's time to pick one of the hostages. No, wait. We still have a little more time. Besides, all of the courtrooms are being used right now. Make all the excuses you want. But you won't get more time. Your daughter is first. The poor thing. She's a little too young to die, don't you think? No, don't you dare hurt her. There has to be something I can do. The cruelest injustice is about to befall us. No, this can't be happening. Mystic Maya, help us. Wait a minute. Maya. Wait, what did she say? I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. We're gonna do it in courtroom number 4? Really? In the middle of the ruins? Oh, that's cool. That must have been really something. Although weird is par for the course with you. A courtroom blew up. That's it. There is a courtroom we can use after all. Okay, time's up. Too bad. Any last words you'd like to say to her? Hold it! Aura, please don't add to the crimes you've already committed. So you know who I am, do you? It wasn't like I was trying to keep it a secret anyway. We're ready to start the trial. Yep, we're doing it in the ruins. We can hold it in the ruins of courtroom number 4. The one blown up by the bomber. Oh, what a wonderful idea, Mr. Nick. I never would have thought of that. An astonishing trial in an astonishing location. I guess it's only befitting. I'll go get the place ready right away. I didn't exactly pick the place for its astonishing factor. How about it? Are you ready to have your brother's innocence proven? My brother? Huh. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention? It's not Simon you'll be defending. What? Not Prosecutor Blackwell? I indict Athena Sykes on the charge of murdering her own mother. We're defending Athena. You'll be defending the little princess there, the one behind the glass. What? See you in that mountain of rubble you've chosen for our courtroom, Mr. Wright. What is she talking about? Athena? Of course. Why didn't it ever occur to me before? If Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent, somebody else had to have been the true culprit. Did I? Did I? Kill my own mother? Oh no. No. Oh. Black Cyclops. We've only ever seen these once, and it was at the end of Apollo Justice. And it was on, Prosecutor Gavin. Not Prosecutor. Defense Attorney Gavin. I don't remember his name. You had Clavier, and then there was the other one. I don't remember his name. But yeah, he had a singular black Cyclops. She has 5, which means she has a very, very deep secret. No way. It can't be true. Mr. Nick, what's the matter? I see 5 black Cyclops. I've seen these kinds of locks before. Dark. Black locks protecting a secret hidden deep inside a peasant's heart. Is it hidden so deep that even they don't know its existence? And there's no way to remove them. Well, that's one way of ending it. Sheesh. Ooh, boy. To be continued. Okay, yeah. So the investigation took a lot longer than I thought it would. So the thing I'm looking at that gave me like a guide of what to go through wasn't even accurate. It's like halfway finished. I'll save over this. I'm just gonna do the intro of the case again. Just so I can read it before I end the session, otherwise I'll forget. Right, so... I didn't want to do that. Crap. No, I want to return to the title. I definitely want to end the session though, because my throat really hurts. I mean, I have been recording for like 4 hours. Your current... yep. So, can I just go to episode select? Episode! And then just do it from the start. There we go. No. There we go. Oh wait, that's a special episode. There! From episode start. It's like, yeah, start. I've saved, so it should be fine. Fucking hope so. It didn't say you'll lose any, all progress. Right, so, this is what I missed. Episode 5, Turnabout for Tomorrow. No one can escape their past. Yeah, I was just too busy looking away, because I was like, I'm going to end the session here, and I didn't. Only because I thought the investigation was going to be super... short, but it wasn't. I don't mind. First time I've done 2, I've gone from the end of one case into the start of the next. The sins we've committed, and the sadness we've caused. Probably the only time I'll do it as well. It doesn't really count, because they're part of the same case. No matter how far we run, our past remains. As ever-present as the moon in the sky. It looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it. Oh, I actually know why it shows the broken courtroom too. Because that's where we're doing it. But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on in hope towards tomorrow. Right, so that is the end of the opening monologue, I think. I believe so. Let me just go to title, please. Alright, there we go. I'm definitely just gonna say sod it and finish this game next. Yep. Don't really care. But yeah, I know I have other stuff I wanna, like, other stuff to record, but I'm so close to the end of this. I'm still probably, you know, I'd probably say I'm at least 2 to 4 hours away from the end of the game, but I'm still close to the end of the game, so, you know, I want to finish. I just think I should probably take a bit of a break to give me voice a nice rest. Either way, that is going to be the end of this session. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, take care. And for those who stopped by the stream, thanks for stopping by, it's much appreciated. Have a good day, and I'll see you next stream.